next one's mine.
Yo, puto.
I might not know one. Faster.
Joshua.
Falso.
All right. Back to Eastpool.
Lord Rossfield, the Curl, is it?
It's dead.
Thank the Founder for that. We were able to eradicate the rest of the Horde. I have guardians posted around the village to keep watch for further attacks, but all seems quiet for now. I hesitate to say it, but I think it might be over.
I think it might.
We saved Eastpool. Thank you, my friends. Thank you.
No, Sir Wade. It's us who should be thanking you. You brought us together. Showed us what it means to fight for what you hold dear.
We never had nothing to call our own before. We didn't know what it meant to protect it, but now we do. We really do.
Forgive us, Sir Wade. You and your people saved us, but there's no doubt in my mind anymore. We're free men now, so we have to start acting like it. We have to fight to protect what's ours, to protect it.
And we shall. We all shall. This is our home. And if anyone or anything tries to take it away,
they'll have us to answer to.
Come on then. Let's get to work.
This village isn't going to rebuild itself.
Esos portadores con ganas de vivir la vida. Portadores con ganas de vivir
They're
la
not
vida.
slaves anymore.
no. They're Rosarians. Your father took pity on the bearer's plight, and I
Estaban
believe if he
viviendo
were
en
still with us
paz.
today, this is what he would have wanted.
I believe you might be right.
I shall remain here, my lord. After all, this is my home now too.
I think you'll find it's East Pudlian, Sir Wade. But you should be proud all the same. I'll have to pull my weight too. Speaking of which, I ought to be getting...
Can we continue to count on your support, Martha?
Of course. And I'll be counting on you. Us Rosarians have got to stick together, haven't we?
Indeed we have.
And Clive, come by the Golden Stables when you get the chance. I ain't paid you for delivering them seeds yet.
All right. I will.
Lord Rossfield, Do you remember our very first mission, clearing the goblins from the Stillwind marshes?
Así es.
There's one sight that I shall never forget. You. Since that day, there have been more than a few times when I felt like giving up, when the odds seemed so stacked in the enemy's favor. But every time, I would think back to the look in your eyes that day and remember to be a shield. Know that whatever trials Eastpool may face, I shall never lose.
So Wade,
Me inspiró.
you have always been a true shield. I know that Eastpool,
Oh, qué hueá se
and indeed
teletransportó.
all of Rosaria.
Thank you. I know the rest of the world will be safe in you.
I'll do my best.
The hero returned. It's lucky you came by when you did. Not only did my seeds get delivered, but you went and...
I just did what I...
And it's only right that... Take it, before I...
Thank you, Martha.
So, Eastpool's finally... And a home to free bearers.
Well, it was your idea.
I know that, but I never stopped to think what it would mean. Bearers in charge of themselves. Think, though I suppose the rest ain't much different nowadays. You know, bearers living free like that. Reminds me of when I first met, old as I am to recall that particular day.
I take it you didn't always see eye to eye.
Well, if you really want to know, I started doing what I do. In fact, that's how I met him. Or at least how he came to meet me. He showed up at the stables one day, asking questions about who'd been buying up bearers. Hunt, poking around in their innards. Me, I thought he was a new constable. Thought the game was up, and before I knew it, the cheeky arse was rattling on at me about how I was doing it all wrong. After all my hard work.
Qué loco porque esta visión se supone que uno la hace en ese momento. Cuando Sid estaba vivo, entonces igual te da más contexto de cómo era Sid, qué sé yo. Sid murió hace cualquier rato, chucha, no sé. Pero murió hace cualquier rato.
And do you know what he did? He smiled, and then he laughed. And then I did the same. We made a pact that day, that whenever one of us was in need, the other would always be there for him.
And you were?
Well, we both wanted the same thing, to make life better, just like your dad. Do you know, I was born right around the time Elwyn became Archduke? He certainly didn't lack for ambition, that one.
Indeed, but the loftier one's ambitions, the harder they... Which is why those of us who follow in their footsteps need to finish what people like Sid and my father started.
Suppose you're right, and if we don't manage it, there's always them who come after it. Good thing we've got a few half-decent sorts waiting in the wings, eh? It's almost enough to give you a little... Anyway, enough nattering. Better get back to work. Let's see about making everyone some dinner, shall we? The least the folks who saved Eastpool deserve is a hot meal. And you and me ain't gonna save the world on an empty stomach neither.
That sounds like a wonderful idea.
Le permite usar a Clay. Bueno. Son ya las últimas misiones que han quedado, ¿no?
Everything's back the way it was.
Take that, you naughty thief! And that!
Clive!
I just wanted to see how the town's been faring since you...
Since we brought all is absolutely wonderful. Conrad and Natalie's hands remain safely awake and firmly at the helm. Our stores are full, and the bandits, just as the good Lady Jane and Lord Underhill intended.
Are you a lord? Lubor's going to be one too. They're going to make him the Lord of Dalamil. Because of how he stopped all the grown-ups from fighting.
It's the mayor of Dalamil, dear child, and the vote hasn't taken place just yet. But if the people wish me to lead them, I shall. And my first act will be to build a school so that menaces like you two learn not to interrupt your elders. Speaking of menaces, there may be a rather worrying one just over the horizon.
May there indeed.
I'm afraid the example Conrad and Natalie set in putting aside their differences and presenting a united front might have caught the bandits' attention. And they might have elected to take a similar approach. They have formed what one could call a League of Outlaws, and they grow more organized by the day.
We'll fight them all off just like last time. No matter how many of them there are. Won't we, Lubor?
Of course we will. If we continue to work together, we can overcome any challenge we choose to face. The longer we avoid facing this one, the more difficult it will be. Until the only way to overcome it might be to run for the hills. Our best hope is to nip these efforts at organization in the bud, by finding those ne'er-do-wells who have yet to join the cause, and ensuring that they never do. Perhaps a certain Lord Underhill might be willing to lend us his aid once more?
How could I refuse?
Thank you, my lord. Victor will fill you in on the particulars. I have him stationed by the desert gate, receiving and collating reports from my scouts. Such an amenable soul.
I'll go and speak with him.
What's the difference between a lord and a mayor?
A League of Outlaws. Sounds like we have some competition.
Like naught you've seen before.
Still in Dalamil, Victor?
Ah, Sid. Came back. I've developed something of a fondness for the planet. Having worked so hard to see it saved from one fate, it would seem a sentiment Master Lubor certainly isn't shy about exploiting.
You're not the only one.
What does he want you to do?
He asked for my aid in putting down the bandits, and he said that you might be able to help.
Then you've come at just the right time. I was on my way to speak with Conrad. There are more camps in the vicinity than we can safely strike at once. But we must strike together, and we must strike soon, at as many camps as we can. We can't give this league...
All right. Which camp shall I take?
There's one upriver. Just out there, across the dunes.
Leave it with me.
Those ne'er-do-wells with the band together.
Come on. That must be the camp Victor mentioned.
We make this quick.
Straight home now.
That's him! The one who killed Locke and Fingers! Take his head
Servimos su buena vuelta. Su buena vuelta.
I'd better let Victor know.
Sid, where are you? Ah, I see the bandits didn't pose you any trouble.
No, but that's not why you're here, is it?
No.
What is it?
The whole town's saying that Lubor is a
What?
Seems that one of our parties wasn't as thorough as they should have been. They let one of the bandits escape, and his escape route took him right through Dalamil. Some of the children spotted him, and when Lubor felled him with a bolt of magic, and without a crystal.
But that's not possible.
It is, if he's a bearer and has been hiding it all these years, which is what people are saying. If he has, well, I wouldn't blame him. No man is branded by choice. Still, all those people see is a man who's lied to them all his life.
Fuck.
I don't know where we go from here, but I know one thing. Lubor needs...
You're right.
Las misiones, igual ya fue cerrada.
And now everyone knows. I made it a habit to keep a crystal close at hand for just such an occasion. And when that occasion arose, I forgot to reach for it. Well, it was bound to come out sooner or later.
We're sorry, Lubor. We tried to keep running, but we just couldn't anymore.
There's nothing to be sorry for. I rather enjoyed playing the hero for once. All that matters to me is that you two are safe.
Look at him talking to his betters like it's nothing.
All lies, I'll wager. Just like the ones he fed us all these years.
Once people make up their minds, it's hard to change them. We need to do something, and quickly. Convince the people not to let their prejudices blind them. Convince them that nothing has changed. That their enemy lies outside these walls, not within them.
You're right. We should speak to everyone.
I'm glad you agree. I'm a Dalmate born and bred. They listen. You head to the Taft. Make Conrad and Natalie remember. They know that Lubor and I are friends. Lord Underhill of Randalar's League of Merchants, however, is that...
I'll do what I can. Lubor, stay here with the children. I can't promise anything, but...
And that is all I can ask of you.
Why are you taking the bearer's side, Victor? Are you one too?
Why do they always have to make such a fuss outside?
He knew all along that he was playing us for...
Forgive me for disturbing you, but... could I have a moment of your time?
I've seen your face before.
As have I. Lord Underhill, wasn't it? Of the League of Merchants.
That's right. I wanted to speak to you about Lubor.
The rumors that he's a bearer. All true, I'm afraid.
He'll never be mayor now. Not if I have anything to do with it.
But what if his wares? Republic. In this at least he's done the town a service. Might that not earn him a little leniency?
Leniency? He pretended to be one of us when he was laughing behind our backs all the while.
I'm sorry, my lord, but he lied to us. He lied to you. He cannot be trusted.
So what do you propose? Will you drive him from his home? Close his forge?
Perhaps. That is a question for the people of Dalamil. And they will thank you not to get involved.
The townsfolk have made their minds up. There was nothing I could do.
Nor I. Conrad and Natalie refused to consider anything but their own wounded pride.
You never know. Once their anger is cooled, they might see things differently. For now, we should report back to Lubor.
All right.
Why do they always have to make such a fuss outside?
Why the hell would
Wait,
Victor take the
I assume the situation is hopeless?
There's still hope. But...
But perhaps not in this lifetime, I think it's fair to say.
You mustn't think like that, Lubor. Give them time. They'll come around. We'll talk some sense into them in the end, you'll see.
No, you won't. And your efforts would be better spent elsewhere.
But Lubor...
Rosina would often tell me that steel does not lie, that a blade is a reflection of the smith who forged it. To yourself be true, that was her point. Rather an ironic one when you consider that her life was taken with a blade of her own making. But I do not doubt that she was always true to herself and what she believed in. Right, and so must I be. And now, I know I must embrace my new role of villain so that the people of Dalimil have, for only united can they hope to stand. I'll need to make a suitably dramatic...
Don't go, Lubor. You're the only one who was ever kind to us. We'll be all alone. Again.
Trust me, little ones. It is for the best that I go. Not only for the town, but...
How could it possibly be for the best? These children need you. The least you can do is give the townspeople a chance to change their minds.
They would not take it, Victor. It's over.
Over, you say? And so just like that, you're going to throw this town and these children to the wolves? I thought you were better than this. But it seems you had me fooled as well.
Victor...
Forget it. Do what you will.
You sure you're making the right choice, Lubor?
Of those available to me, I believe it's the best one. Yes. Ah, but where are my manners? Here. A reward for clearing out that bandit camp. Right then. I have packing to do.
If there's anything I can do. Anything.
I'll bear it in mind. Thank you.
Lord Rosfield, is there aught the Undying might assist you with this day?
Perhaps. My brother said that your order was helping him with his quest to uncover Ultima's origin. Have you learned anything of note since last we spoke?
Little and less, I regret to report.
I see.
Be assured, however, that we will not rest until the truth is known. Even now, our archaeologians scour ruins in every corner of the realm for traces of Ultima's touch.
Fallen ruins, I take it. Dating back as far as Phoenix Gate.
Indeed. Ultima's thralls are oft sighted among the remnants of the fallen civilization, as if protecting the secrets.
Secrets we'd see unearthed.
Should our methods be of interest, my lord, mayhap it would please you to observe some of our number at work.
Would that be possible?
Of course. A survey is being conducted not far from here. Perchance you are familiar with Kretov.
A small hamlet built around a fallen airship. I was due to visit my colleagues there to collect their preliminary, if you would consent to do so in my stead. I'm sure that they would be honored to relate any discoveries they...
All right. I'll go and meet with them.
They will be most gratified, I am sure. Might I suggest you take the road through Titan's Wake? It will lead you straight to the village after but a short walk.
Thank you. I will.
I wish you a safe journey, my lord. May the Firebird's flames burn ever in your heart.
It's kind of you to take an interest in the Undying's affairs.
I can't have you all keeping secrets from me, can I?
Eso.
And don't come back. Oh no. You'll pay for this. There may still be spiders.
All the more reason to rid this place of echoes.
Whatever that thing is, I'd say it's their leader.
Buenísimo el Mega Fulgor. Fulgor. Todos a la vez, todos a la vez.
Should have stayed in the path. The These must be Cyril's colleagues.
You have our thanks, stranger.
Who are you?
Ah, forgive me, my lord. I did not recognize you. We are archaeologians, tasked with surveying this site. When the thanks to them, and to you, we were for...
You call that a mercy? Your brothers might still be alive if you put their safety before. Surely this survey wasn't worth dying for.
We are charged with uncovering Ultima's origins, a duty of the highest import, as I'm sure you will...
And you think your dead brothers would agree with you too?
I know they would. They gave their lives for the cause, an honor to which all Undying aspire. Now, to what do we owe the honor of your presence?
Cyril told me of your work here, and I agreed to collect your findings in his stead.
I see. That is most kind. Pray, take them then, with our humble thanks. May the Firebird's flame burn ever in your heart, as it does in ours.
It's one thing to lay down your life for another, but for a survey...
Forgive them, Clive. The Undying live by a very different creed, and nothing we say will change that. Come. Let us deliver their findings to Cyril. Their deaths might not be in vain.
Ah, you are returned, my lord.
I collected your colleagues' preliminary findings. Here, take them.
My thanks. I shall study them, and inform you forthwith if I discover aught that might aid you in your fight against Ultima.
Cyril, your survey party suffered several losses in Kretov. Losses which could have been avoided, had the others not chosen to complete their work, instead of saving their friends. Were these your orders?
No. This was their choice. Every Undying devotes his life to the service of the Phoenix. It is our sole duty, and should we die in discharging it, so be it.
Even when death is avoidable.
My lord, I fear that this is not a point over which it would be fruitful to argue. The Undying have served the Phoenix for countless generations, and your opinion of our methods, however earnest, is not like to change them. We live to serve the Phoenix. Our very order exists for that purpose, and that purpose alone.
Cyril, I know that you and your brethren answer only to Joshua, but allow me to offer you a word of advice. It does not further the cause of the Phoenix to have his loyal followers surrender their lives without good reason. Provide your survey parties with an escort, that they might live to do their duty for years to come. Think not only of how you can serve the Phoenix, but how Joshua would want you to serve him. Please. For all our sakes.
I thank you for your advice, my lord. If you will permit me to respond, our faith in his grace, Joshua Rossfield, is absolute. And we of the Undying will do what we believe is right to fulfill our duty unto him. As first shield to the Phoenix, I am sure you understand what it means to do one's duty.
I do.
Then we are of the same mind. And it is my hope that we may continue to do our duty together.
No quedan cositas verdes, weón. Solo acá nomás. Sí, a ver el mural, ¿cómo está el muralcito? Ahí tiene una habitación también.
The stew's awfully thin these days.
What do you expect? Farmers are about... My Lord Marquis, that some of my fellow guardians are to build a new...
It's true.
I have many fond... When I was a child, we would visit my aunt and uncle often. I went to see Aunt Hannah after my uncle...
Oscar.
But my training is not yet complete. I couldn't possibly...
I warned you I might not be the easiest of masters. But not as rebuild her home. Is what she would have wanted.
Yeah, thank you. I will not forget this kindness, my lord. I shall go to East as soon as the report...
Son recuerdos, pero se tienen esa cajita, Son nuevos premios, porque son...
What could be wrong with Torgor?
Hay coleccionadores.
I got your note. You think something's wrong with Torgor?
So you can read. Congratulations. But I didn't say I were wrong with him. I said something weren't right. He's not been eating me treats. He used to love cracking the bones from Molly's boiled brown, but now he won't so much as look at them. Didn't like him. Which is why I'm of a mind that his man... You've not been working him too hard, have you?
No harder than usual. Is that it, boy? Do you need a rest?
What was it you said he was? A frost wolf?
That's what the lawsman seems to think.
Then maybe this all has something to do with whatever it is that's woken inside him.
I suppose things have been different since Rosalith. Perhaps Hippocrates knows something.
Instead of everything, you mean? Perhaps.
Lawsman, I need to ask you about Torgor.
He isn't ill, is he?
I don't think so. But according to Lady Karen, he seems to have lost his appetite. She says he's hardly been touching his bones of late, and she believes it may have something to do with what happened at Rosalith Castle.
I rather think she might be right, though not about his appetite. All canids are instinctively inclined to crack open bones for the rich marrow that resides within, and I see no reason why a frostwolf should be any different. Accordingly, I suspect it is not a lack of appetite that afflicts Torgor, but a surfeit of it. If we assume that his newfound magics require additional nourishment to sustain, it may well be that the bones Lady Karen is accustomed to providing, frostwolves, after all, habitually prey upon far larger animals,
whose bones may yield altogether different nutrients. As to where one might find a suitable substitute, some antelopes that graze the meadows of eastern Rosaria have been known to grow to a size more than double that of their lesser cousins.
I don't recall ever seeing any that large.
And little wonder. The oldest and largest such creatures rarely leave the safety of the last elder antelope sighting I recall hearing about took place near Cressida, and that was long before.
Even so,
It's good hunting, Clive. And while my... Thank you for indulging an old man.
Mid said I can...
I'll build a barricade so sturdy.
Straight home now. Certainly quiet. If I were a giant antelope, it would seem like just the place. I doubt we'll find one bigger than that. You hungry, Torgal?
Doctor.
Now. Will it be enough, I wonder? I say that answers my question. Which means we owe the lawsmen our thanks. You're just a big puppy, aren't you? A very big puppy. You do know you can take that with you, Torgal. Lady Karen will be relieved to hear you've got your appetite back. Come on, boy.
I noticed you and Torgal had gone off somewhere. So, Molly's leftovers weren't good enough, eh? That'll teach me for treating you like you're still a pup. All right, no need to shout. Now we know what you're after, I can see about getting some in.
Speaking of which, I brought one for later.
You can, aye. I'm nice like that. In return, you can thank Tomes for...
I was just on my way to...
Ah, Clive. Were you able to locate...
We were indeed, Lawsman. You pointed us an exact...
Very good, very good.
Lady Karen sends her thanks, by the way.
Ah. But that reminds me. Do you recall our conversation concerning Lady Jill's rope?
About how she somehow woke the power within him.
Precisely that. A reasonable conclusion, I thought. But one, the Fenrir of legend served Shiva and Shiva alone. And while the powers attributed to him are certainly impressive, the records imply they are somewhat...
What are you suggesting?
That Torgal may be the beneficiary of more than one icon's power. Consider that in addition to Lady Jill, he has served as a loyal companion to you, your brother, and even the late Cid. In short, the icons hitherto near at hand, or should I say at paw, have been diverse and plenty. And that number has only grown as the realm's dominance have fallen to your sword. One can but speculate as to how all of this has affected Torgal.
He has seemed more fierce of late.
And if I am not mistaken, he will grow fiercer still.
Oh, he's more than an ally. He's a friend.
Mid said I could ride the Enterprise next. No, she didn't. She said I could.
The stew's awfully thin these days.
What do you expect?
Trouble with the ledgers. Shouldn't he be asking Otto for help?
Covered in nicks and lumps, the lot of them. It's a wonder they can still walk.
Clive, did you get my letter?
That's why I'm here.
Shh. Otto might be listening.
Is this better?
A little. Listen, I've some bad news. It turns out the hideaway may be slightly behind in its payment to certain lenders, and it may be my fault. But I swear to the goddess, I thought I had the numbers square. Sadly, that square turned out to be more of a circle. Zero, you might say. I can straighten it out, I swear, but it's going to take some time, and I'm going to need help keeping it from Otto.
Bit late for that, I'd say.
There you are! What a surprise!
So let me get this straight. You forget to pay our lenders what they're due, and instead of coming straight to me, you get Clive to come to you. And I hope he'll dig you out of the hole you've dug for yourself. Clive, the man in charge of the place you've been cheerfully trying to bankrupt. And you thought this was a cunning plan. Why? Well, who needs paying?
Oh, just Martha. And the dame. And, well, Lady Karen. But only 500 talents.
We owe 3 of our most trusted friends 5 million gil?
They lent us the bulk of the money we used to rebuild the hideaway, you see, and, well, I must have made some sort of oversight.
Those ledgers were my responsibility, and it was my decision to entrust them to you. This is my fault.
Do we have that much to hand? I can always ask my uncle.
No, we don't. And no, you won't. We've lightened Lord Rosfield's purse enough. After the king's ransom we had off him, he deserves better than to see our begging bowl. Besides, we'll need to learn to stand on our own if we're gonna make this work.
All right. Is there anything I can do to help?
There might. How'd you fancy taking...
Rocks.
Rocks, he says. Worth a little something Sid and I set aside for, and I reckon 15 million in overdue debt probably qualifies. I just hope our associates' eyes are a bit more
I'm sure they will be.
Should be. You know how it is with this place. Orders to bark, asses to wipe.
I know. Which is why I don't mind going in.
Go. Do you know why I only gave Master Clive here 2 star rubies?
Because you'd rather Lady Karen killed me.
Because I'd rather Lady Karen killed you. Yes.
Well, I suppose this is good.
Don't worry.
Really?
No, I don't.
Fly, Ambrosia.
Caution, brother. Quiet.
Thanks, Gal. Well, Clyde. Biggest heart. It should have stayed in its shell. eyesight all. Shouldn't have messed with the leader of the pack, eh, boy?
Clive, we weren't expecting you.
I wasn't expecting to be here, but it seems we still owe you a considerable amount of coin for your help, and though I doubt it's what you were expecting, we were hoping you'd take this as payment.
A star ruby? I can't accept this. It's worth at least twice what you owe me. More if you can find yourself the right buyer.
Think of the difference as interest.
Interest? If word got out I charged that much, no one would ever borrow from me again. Anyway, why are you the one here asking me about this? I'd have expected Otto. Bit much sending the Lord Marquis out to settle your debts, isn't it? The old goat working himself to death again?
Something like that. Most days I think he's the only reason the hideaway's still standing.
Same as always, eh? Back when the place was nothing but a twinkle in the eye of a recently retired... he was the first one Sid reached out to. Probably knew that without his strong arm and level head, the idea would never get off the ground. Sid may have been the face of the hideaway, but Otto's always been the backbone. And when Sid passed away, we were all worried that would be the end of it. That Otto would just give up.
His death was hard on everyone. But it must have hit Otto hardest of all.
But he didn't give up, did he? Quite the opposite, in fact. If I recall, he was the one who nominated you as Sid's replacement, and rallied the rest around you. I reckon what he saw in Sid, he saw in you too. And don't we all? Doesn't hurt that you're half as stubborn and twice as handsome, neither. That, and you keep good company.
I suppose I do.